Hello, everyone, and welcome to our impromptu live stream. I just wanted to check in with everyone to see what are some of the topics that you guys may be interested that we offer through Zetwork University. So we have an enormous library. There are so many things that we offer. We offer online courses, seminars, webinars, ebooks, virtual events, all kinds of good stuff, all centering around Zetwork. And we also have our Pet Dog U program that also offers things that are centered around just general dog training as well as dog sports. So I just wanted to pop on real quick to see if any of you are interested in any particular topics so that I'd be able to, again, circle back with our instructors to see whether or not we can put that together for you. Our instructors are very, very, very good as far as putting things together for us. We are incredibly fortunate about all the different professionals that we're able to work with. So I wanted to check in with you guys to see whether or not there's something in particular that you're really itching to learn about. I really wish you guys would talk about this. So if you guys just want to write inside of the comments, if there is anything in particular that you are indeed interested in, I'm always happy to discuss that with you. And we can also figure out the best way of covering that topic for you. So again, it could be something such as a webinar. It could potentially be something like a live stream, like what I'm doing today. We just had a really interesting conversation with Tia Anders, as well as Silke Wittig, all talking about the imposter syndrome that we may experience inside of Zetwork, whether or not we're a handler or a competitor or an instructor or, again, a trial official. So that stuff is really helpful for us to, again, just kind of circle around and say, you know what, I'm feeling kind of icky. Why is that? So having those kinds of conversations are really helpful. So we can do that as well. It can also be a podcast episode. I love interviewing anyone who's involved in set work. So if you have a particular topic, like I really wish you would talk about blah, 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 please let me know. And I'll make certain to touch base with that person or to talk about those things. Maybe it's something you're looking for a little bit more detail. Again, our webinars work really well for that. Those are 90-minute presentations. Our instructors knock them out of the park every single time. They're very, very popular. And we have been offering these virtual events, which are much longer events. They're 3 hours in length, and we typically have a panel, and they're able to talk about some topics in pretty good detail. So there's lots of different options, and I'm always open to starting something new as well, because we want to make sure that we're offering what you guys are interested in. So here we have a good one. So the difference between tracking and detection, that is an excellent thing for us to talk about. So I think that making sure that we can distinguish between what we are doing in set work in the realm of what this is, as well as other kind of dog sports can be really super helpful. So what I can do is I can actually see if we can schedule a live stream about that with some of our instructors so they can distinguish these different things. Because this is a common thing that we hear a lot is that people aren't really sure, like, what's the difference between all this stuff, particularly because there are so many new sniffing things for us to do. So just as a broad overview, what we're trying to do inside of set work, as far as what we do at Setwork University, is the sport. We're playing this game for fun. So we're going out into different types of search areas and we're finding hides. Typically, those are going to be essential oils like birch, anise, clove, maybe cypress, thyme, myrrh, wintergreen. Really depends on where you are in the world, depending on which competition organization you are competing in. And you're trying to find those essential oils with your dog. Right? Your dog is finding them and you're trying to read your dog. With tracking, typically speaking, what you're doing is you're trying to find dropped articles that have been scented by the track layer out in the field or across different types of ground and different types of areas. So it could be a field, it could be a parking lot, or something, a combination of the two. So there are differences between the two. As far as a way that kind of overlays is with handler discrimination. So that's where an AKC or UKC here in the United States is they actually have handler discrimination classes. So what your dog would be tasked to do is to find articles that you scented yourself with your hands. And that's going to be placed somewhere within the search area for the dog to find. And that's going to be set by the actual judge or the person who is involved with that class. There may also be distractors out there as well, other articles that are scented by other people that your dog is not supposed to find. So I do think that it could be very, very helpful for us to do a much broader conversation so that we can really dig into what are the differences, because we hear this a lot where people are like, oh, I want to get involved in set work. I'm like, that's great. Like, I want to, help TSA or I want to do bed bug detection, or I want to do search and rescue. And I try to tell people, like, that's not really what we do at Setwork University. We're focusing on the sport as opposed to something that is done out there in the real world for, sometimes life and death sorts of things. There's probably a lot of overlap, but I want to make certain that we're not giving information that's incorrect, or I don't want to send anyone down the wrong path, if that makes any sense. A lot of our instructors are indeed from the professional realm. They're bringing a lot of really great expertise. So if there is someone who's interested in maybe learning more of that side of things, you can always contact us and I can give you some resources in order to learn a little bit more about that as well. But as far as the types of things we do have coming up, because there is a lot, we have lots of different live webinars that we are currently on the calendar. So next week is packed. We have so many really great things coming up. So the first one is the Displacement, Sniffing, and Other Stress Behaviors webinar. That's with Sue Sternberg. We are thrilled anytime we have an opportunity to host Sue. She is absolutely incredible. So in this webinar, she's going to be talking about all the various types of stress behaviors that we may see when our dogs are doing searching. So we could better determine, is my dog actually in the process of trying to find a hide or something else going on? This is something that everyone should really partake in, whether or not you're interested in competition, you're doing this activity for enrichment, particularly if you're an instructor or a trial official. Being able to pick up on these things is exceedingly important. So I definitely encourage everyone to check that webinar out. Tony Gravely is coming back once again to offer a wonderful webinar for us, where he's going to be talking about thresholds. So many of us spend a lot of time when we're training trying to build a lot of interest and drive in our dogs. So they want to go into our search areas and they want to seek. That's great. But sometimes that causes our dogs to become a little bit of a rocket. They can go from one point of the search area to the next, and sometimes they can blow through those thresholds. And as you go up in the levels, it can get kind of difficult to get back to that threshold to make sure you didn't miss anything. So he's going to be talking about how we can really ensure the dogs understand that those thresholds are indeed productive, and some ways you may be able to do that with your training. So that webinar is scheduled for August 26th. And then we have Michelle Ellertson is coming back once again. We are really, really, really fortunate. Michelle is a phenomenal instructor and trainer. Every time I take one of her webinars, I'm like, oh, so good. She helps me elevate my game as an instructor as well. Her webinar is that pooling or something else? Excuse me. So she's going to be talking about excuse me, how we may be able to better decipher what our dogs are basically encountering during a search, so that we aren't sitting there going, We'd be able to tell what it is exactly that they are encountering, excuse me, when they are actually doing their searches, particularly when it comes to pooling, inaccessible highs, and things of the like. So this is something that we have had lots of interest in. People are like, oh, yes, please, I want to know if my dog is actually in pooling. So I strongly encourage you guys to check that out. Very, very good stuff. We have lots of different webinars coming up in the end of the year as well. We are pretty darn packed, but we can always add more. That's why I wanted to reach out with you guys to see what you guys are interested in. Some other things we also have going on are our virtual events. So those have been extraordinarily popular. We are very, very fortunate for all the wonderful feedback that we've received so far. So what exactly is a virtual event? What does it mean? What is that? These are different types of offerings that we have where this is a longer event. They're 3 hours in length. And they're typically going to be with multiple speakers. So it's kind of a round table or a panel, and we're able to tackle a particular topic for a longer period of time and really dive into some of the weeds. And you can get to receive a lot of different insight from a lot of different professionals, and that can be very, very helpful, so that you're not just hearing the opinion of one person. So that's really one of the main focuses I have with Setwork University. I don't want you to just learn from one person. I want you to get as much information as you can from as many different professionals as possible, because that way you're able to figure out which tools are going to work well for both you and your dog. The more tools you have in your toolbox, the better. And we've been incredibly fortunate with our wonderful instructors who have been giving up all of their time in order to do these events. They've been knocking them out of the park. We are very, very fortunate. So we have lots of different ones that are coming up over the next couple of months. The first is the Learn More About the Dog Driven Search virtual event. That's going to be with Sue Sternberg and Dana Zinn, and that is scheduled for September 4th. So, this is where they're going to be taking a deeper dive into the Dog Driven Search book, which they both wrote, and they're going to be answering a lot of questions about that. So, if you have read the book, you've heard about the book, you want to learn more about it, I definitely encourage you to check this out. We are super excited for this. They're really going to be getting into the nitty gritty of things. So, I highly recommend everyone to check that out. After that, we're then going to have some virtual events that are more geared towards instructors, but I definitely encourage for everyone to take these as well, because if you can see from an instructor standpoint what it is they potentially want to think about when they're putting together their curriculum, that also helps you as a client. So that you can see, oh, well, if the instructors think that they should be building these types of skills, I should make certain that I'm doing that as well, particularly if you're training on your own. So we have two different virtual events coming up with that type of approach. The first one is focusing on instructors who are preparing their clients to take AKC set work. So for any clients who are interested in competing in AKC, this virtual event is going to be focusing on that. And we have a really great panel of professionals that are going to be talking to us during that event. We have Anita Ambini, Holly Bouchard, Tony Gravely, Judith Guthrie, Natalie McManus, and Cara Schutzner. Very, very good stuff. These are all really experienced AKC set work judges, as well as instructors in their own right, as well as competitors. So they have all the different hats to pull from in order to figure out what it is that their clients would need in order to succeed in the various levels of AKC. The great thing about participating in one of these virtual events is that you get to ask questions. And again, because you're hearing from all these different professionals, some really good in-depth conversation can occur. So they're able to basically piggyback off of what each other are saying. We can go through a variety of different topics. We can ask each other questions. It's really, really good. So I encourage everyone to check that out. In the same vein, we have another virtual event scheduled for October 17th, and this is focusing on how instructors can better prepare their clients who are interested in NACSW. So the panel for that is Holly Bouchard, Kayla Deaver, Tony Gravely, Michael McManus, Natalie McManus, Cara Schutzner, and Lori Timberlake. It is packed. We are so incredibly fortunate. Again, all these individuals are indeed instructors who focus on NACSW as well as some of the other venues, but they're also trial officials at NACSW. They've been involved with NACSW for a while. Then they're also active competitors too. So again, they're able to pull from all that expertise in order to determine, hey, if you're out there and you're looking to try to help your clients and they aren't interested in competing at NACSW, these are some of the things you really want to make certain that you're covering so that your clients have the skills they need to be successful. After that, we have our Judges View virtual event that is scheduled for November 7th. This is where we're compiling a whole bunch of different trial officials from a variety of different organizations to let you know what they're seeing across the board, across different types of levels, so that you can say, okay, well, these professionals are noticing A, B, and C. Maybe I want to make certain that I'm training for that. Maybe those are some pitfalls I want to avoid. Maybe these are things that are working. Maybe I want to give that a try. So again, we're very fortunate to have this wonderful panel of Anita Ambini, Bill Gaskins, Judith Guthrie, Michelle Munson, Caroline Oldham, and Alex Woodruff. So we're very fortunate to have all those people come in order to share their insights and their expertise. Again, the great thing about these virtual events is that you're able to hear from all these different people, and you're also able to ask questions. So definitely encourage you guys to join us for that. And then we're rounding out the year on December 12th with our Decoding AKC Handler Discrimination and Buried Classes virtual event. These two classes in AKC can really flummox a lot of people. So we wanted to make certain that we offered a virtual event that was focusing on that and some of the things you may want to think about if you're preparing to compete in those classes in the various levels. So our panel for that is Anita Ambini, Holly Bouchard, Judith Guthrie, Natalie McManus, Cara Schutzner, and Alex Woodruff. Again, I want to give a huge thank you to all of those professionals who are sharing so much of their time and expertise in order to ensure that we're able to put on these virtual events. But I want to continue scheduling these. That's why I want to touch base with you guys in order to see what type of stuff you may be interested in so that we're able to put together more virtual events for you. Again, this can be anything that is involving with scent work or if you actually are interested in things that are outside of scent work. Maybe there's something particular for just dog training or dog behavior. Again, we're very fortunate to have a large network of professionals who work with us, or again, that we just work well with. And we would love to be able to give them a platform to share some of their expertise as well. So if there's something in particular, like, I really wish you guys would talk about this, or, I've experienced my dog doing X, Y, or Z. Could you maybe talk about that? By all means, feel free to contact me, because then I'd be able to put that together for you. Again, it could be in any type of format. It could be one of our online courses, which typically are a very intensive learning experience where there's going to be pre-recorded content on our site. You'll be able to go through that at your own pace. And then depending on the type of enrollment option that you choose, you can either have it where it's just completely self-taught, nice and relaxed. It could be an auditor where you are going through the content at your own pace, but then you're able to compile videos to have the instructor review those. Or it could be the student enrollment, which is really intensive, where every single week you're going to be providing video and homework assignments for the instructor to review, and then they'd be providing you with feedback on that. Again, it all depends on what your availability is and what you're really looking to get out of it. A lot of people will start off with the watcher and be like, I really do want some instructor feedback. So then they'll upgrade to either the auditor or the student when that's available. So if you have a topic that you really wish that someone would really give a nice in-depth coverage of, let me know. We may be able to offer that as an online course. We also have, again, these virtual events and seminars, which again, we can have either with a singular speaker or with a panel. Also, our webinars are wonderful, and they are definitely our most popular thing. They're 90 minutes in length. They're similar to what we're doing right now. And some will be able to provide an online presentation. When you're joining live, you can ask questions and participate. And you also have continual access to the replay. So you can go through that as often as you wish. And we get a lot of feedback from our clients that they do just that. They go through things multiple times because, again, our instructors provide a ton of information. They're all very, very talented people. The other thing that we also offer, again, are these eBooks, which are very, very helpful. People are able to use us to maybe get some ideas or in order to take a little bit of a deeper dive into certain topics. But if you really do like the ebook format, just let me know. I can then touch base with our instructors to see if they're interested in compiling one, if they're interested in contributing to one, or we can always work on making ones for specifically Scentwork University. I really do like our virtual event format, but we're also interested in trying other things out where potentially we could have basically longer form webinars where we could have multiple webinars scheduled at a time. So potentially the way that would work is we could have a pair of speakers speak for maybe 45 minutes on a planned presentation, and I could take some questions. And then the panel would be able to contribute as well. And then we have another 45 minutes of presentation, and that goes on from there. We're really interested in being flexible. I want to provide as much information as possible, and I want to do it in a way that's going to help everybody. That's why I need you to let me know what works. So far, everyone really loves our webinars. They're really enjoying the virtual events. They also really like our courses and seminars and ebooks, but there's other things that we can offer. I want to know, so be able to offer that for you guys. And just to wrap up again, if there's anything as far as podcast episodes or blog posts, articles, if there's something like, I really wish that someone would just talk about this, or I really wish there was a resource that talked about that, you just got to let me know. I'm more than happy to put that together for you. But again, this just wanted to pop on quick just to give you guys something to think about. But I really do appreciate all the things that you do for your dogs when they're playing the sniffy game. The more dogs who are playing the sniffy game, the better. And I really do appreciate all the support you've shown Scentwork University. It means the world to me. So thank you very much. All right, guys. I don't want to take up any more of your time on this early morning. I was like, I just want to see, do they want something else? And so I really do appreciate you giving this a listen. Happy training. Please give a cookie to your puppy for us, and we look forward to seeing you all soon.